Fresh details of Lewis Hamilton's move to Ferrari and the surrounding events and atmosphere have caused quite a stir, as highlighted by Matt Wyman, author of Inside Mercedes F1. The first signs of Formula One's biggest driver move in recent history didn't come through official channels or press releases. Instead, it came through an unexpected phone call to Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff from Carlos Sainz Sr. The rally legend and father of Ferrari's departing driver delivered the news that would set off a chain of events that would reshape the 2025 Formula One landscape. The old man Sainz called me and said, "This is what's happening," Wolff would later reveal. What followed was equally telling. A sudden surge of calls from other drivers' fathers who had never reached out before. These unusual patterns in the paddock's typically well-controlled communication channels suggested something momentous was brewing beneath the surface. When Wolff tested the waters by messaging Ferrari's Fred Vasseur with a simple, "You're taking our driver," the unusual silence from his typically responsive friend spoke volumes. The final confirmation came during what should have been a triumphant moment for Mercedes. As Wolff shared news about recruiting former Ferrari designer Simone Resta, Hamilton's response was loaded with meaning. "Oh, there's something I need to tell you." The irony of discussing a Ferrari personnel acquisition while losing their star driver to the same team wasn't lost on anyone. Behind the corporate chess moves and contract clauses lay a deeply human story that would resonate throughout the paddock. Hamilton's decision to join Ferrari wasn't just about changing teams, it was about ending what he called a perfectly fine relationship. This wasn't a typical driver transfer, it was the dissolution of one of Formula One's most successful partnerships. The emotional weight of the decision became starkly apparent during a pre-season team-building event. According to Matt Wyman, who spent 18 months embedded with the Mercedes team, Hamilton sat in his car for 20 minutes before a paintball session, wrestling with how to face his team. The sight of his longtime colleagues waiting to begin their annual bonding tradition proved almost too much to bear. "I needed to do it in person because that's what integrity is all about," Hamilton would later reflect. "But I knew it would be difficult. Ultimately, as humans, we're hurt when things end. But I also know that our friendship goes beyond business. That's how I view it, and I hope Toto does too." The team's reaction was equally nuanced. Wyman observed, "A strange atmosphere for about 30 seconds at the W15 shakedown at Silverstone, before professionalism took over, and it was business as usual. People have resigned themselves, and I think they have understood their reasons," he noted. "It's Ferrari, and it's the only thing Lewis lacks." This understanding within the team spoke to a deeper truth about Hamilton's decision. As Wyman would later recount, Hamilton had confided, "The dream of every driver who approaches car racing is to race with a Ferrari. I didn't want to reach the end of my career, look back and think about what it would be like if I had run for Ferrari." The timing of Hamilton's February 1st announcement had far-reaching consequences that would ripple through the Formula One driver market. Toto Wolff found himself in a precarious position, having missed the opportunity to approach potential replacements like Charles Leclerc and Lando Norris, who had recently extended their contracts at their respective teams. "I absolutely had it on my radar that Lewis would go," Wolff admitted, in Inside Mercedes F1, Life in the Fast Lane. "I just couldn't understand why he'd changed to another team before we knew if we were going to be competitive. It also didn't give me any time to react." The situation forced Wolff into emergency mode. "I had to emergency call our partners, and I possibly missed out on negotiating with other drivers who had signed contracts a few weeks earlier like Charles Leclerc and Lando Norris. It put us on the back foot, and that had a commercial impact." Yet beneath the immediate challenges lay deeper strategic considerations on both sides. Mercedes' decision to offer Hamilton only a 1+1 contract revealed their own long-term thinking. As Wolff would later explain, "There's a reason why we only signed a 1+1 year contract. We're in a sport where cognitive sharpness is extremely important, and I believe everyone has a shelf life." Wolff continued, "If somebody thinks they can play better elsewhere, you have just got to let them go." Despite the 2024 season being the most successful for Mercedes since 2021, with Sir Lewis Hamilton achieving 2 victories, it has also been one of the worst seasons from a performance standpoint for the 7-time world champion. He has struggled to keep pace with his teammate, even hinting at potential sabotage. After qualifying for the Monaco Grand Prix, he made a famous remark saying, "I don't know if it's a turn down or something, but performance seems to be lacking from my car for some reason." When asked if he anticipated being ahead of George in qualifying this year, he responded, "We will see." Hamilton's struggles with the Mercedes W15 cast a revealing light on the timing of his decision. During the Brazilian Grand Prix, his frustration reached a breaking point as he described the car as the worst it has ever been. His radio message spoke volumes. "That was a disaster of a weekend, guys. That's the worst the car has ever been, but thank you for contributing to try, and great job to all the guys at the pit stop." Lewis had urged the team back in 2023 to focus on this year's car. His message regarding the 2024 model was even more direct. "I know you're working towards something better for next year, but it has to be drastically different. It can't be just a sister car to this one, or an evil twin to last year's." These words weren't merely those of a frustrated driver. They reflected the thoughts of a champion contemplating his future. As both parties look to the future, the move represents more than just a driver change. It's a convergence of two entities seeking redemption. Ferrari hasn't claimed a driver's championship since 2007, while Hamilton seeks to reclaim the glory that slipped away in Abu Dhabi 2021. Red Bull's Christian Horner, watching from the sidelines, suggests Hamilton's timing might be more strategic than sentimental. He's obviously seen something there that he believes in that serves him better than staying where he is. I think for F1, a Lewis-Ferrari tie-up is really exciting. The implications extend beyond just performance. As Horner noted, it will be very interesting to see how Lewis acclimatizes to life at Ferrari. He's obviously coming out of a very comfortable environment, so that'll be a change for him. For Wolff, the departure has prompted a philosophical reflection. "I like the situation. It helps us because it avoids the moment where we need to tell the sport's most iconic driver that we want to stop." This pragmatic view belies the emotional weight of the change, as evidenced by his admission. "I've had some pretty tough moments in my life, and this doesn't compare." As Ferrari and Hamilton prepare for their 2025 union, both parties hope this partnership will write a new chapter in Formula One history. For Hamilton, it's about ensuring he won't reach the end of my career, look back and think about what it would be like if I had run for Ferrari. For the Scuderia, it's about returning to the summit of Formula One with one of the sport's greatest ever drivers. The stage is set for what could be one of Formula One's most compelling narratives, a 7-time world champion, a legendary team, and their shared quest for redemption. This convergence of ambition, timing, and destiny might just prove to be the perfect storm that Formula One has been waiting for.